I'm going to record this session for them and then I can post it on social media. So before we get into just, it's not very long, and obviously I'll field a couple of questions. I don't want to take up too much of your time. This is definitely an information session on the program. But before we get into it, let's bring ourselves into the present moment. And I know we're living busy lives. A lot of us are professional people in the corporate space, and you probably got a lot going on. I just finished making dinner for my son. It was a rush, so rush, 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 and then all of a sudden getting into the session. So I'd like to, for my own sake, just take a breath, right? And some deep breaths just to bring ourselves into the moment and to settle ourselves, to settle our nervous system, and to boost our bloodstream with some nitric oxide, which is always good. All right, 2 feet firmly on the ground, dropping the chin so slightly, and then let's take in a nice deep breath in through the nose, and then slowly exhaling it out the nostrils with control. Another deep breath in through the nose, and breathing it out the nose with control. And last big breath in through the nose. Open your mouth and gently sigh the breath out. Opening your eyes. We're going to practice something called the 5-4-3-2-1. And this really helps with bringing ourselves into the moment. And it's also something we do when maybe a colleague or a family member is having a bit of a mental health crisis. And it's a very accessible and easy mindfulness technique to remember as well. So right now, just observe and identify 5 things that you can see. Okay, make a mental note and just look at it for a little while before moving on to the next one. Observe its shape, its color, the way the light catches it. Have you seen it before? Okay, just moving your eyes gently around your space, your room, wherever. Just letting your eyes rest on whatever it rests on and observe, and I guess also how it makes you feel, right? Okay, coming back to center. And you can also be aware of your breath as we do this. Next is, let's see, 4 things that you can touch. Okay, 4 things that you can touch. Run your fingers over it and observe and feel the texture, and then move to the next one, perhaps something different. Mm. Okay, great. And now 3 things that you can hear. Making a mental note. Good. And now 2 things that you can smell, if there is. And then lastly, 1 thing that you can taste. and there might be some leftover taste in your mouth. I've just had a stir fry, so I've got some sweet and sour sauce still lingering. And maybe there's something that is available for you to taste. Maybe you got a peanut or a raisin or a. I've got an almond actually lurking around, so I'm going to grab that and taste that on purpose. Mindful eating. Okay, let's breathe in again through the nose and exhaling out the mouth with control. Nice. Okay, there's a little mindfulness exercise right there. So welcome. This is the intro session for those of you that are thinking of joining the mindfulness course. My name is Mark Joseph, and I've been practicing mindfulness now for, my goodness, it's been almost 30 years. I think I was practicing mindfulness before there was a word called mindfulness. So I suffered from a lot of mental health issues when I was young. When I was in my 20s, things got really bad, and I didn't want to go on medication or anything like that. And I was really lucky because I came across a lady that taught me some breathing exercises. And then from there, I became super interested and I started doing it every day. And my friends thought I was crazy because they never heard of it. And anyway, I traveled to the UK. I lived in London for a year. And then I backpacked around India and the Himalayas for another year. And there I encountered the Tibetan monks. And the Asian culture is very, very mindful. They meditate, they practice mindfulness. And I was like, wow, okay, I found my home. You know, these people here, they have a culture of mindfulness. They practice mindfulness. It's not like the Western world where nobody knows anything about it. So if I could have stayed in the Himalayas, I would have. But I came home and I moved into a temple and I lived in a mindfulness temple for 3 years in Johannesburg, actually, in the Auckland Park. Nobody knows it's there, but it's there. And if you want to go, I can take you there one day. But I didn't want to really convert people to, say, Buddhism or some other, philosophy. I grew up a Catholic. I also didn't want to leave my Catholic roots behind. So eventually I left the temple, and but my passion for meditation and mindfulness was there. And I got married and I had a kid and I had a normal job. But in the evening and on weekends, I'd be teaching meditation and mindfulness back in 2002, 2003. And over the years, the courses grew, they got bigger, more people started to attend. And the awesome thing is I started to study neuroscience, which was super, super interesting because there was so much that neuroscience was confirming about the benefits of mindfulness. And I was so excited because now I could explain to people that this is a real thing and there's a real positive benefit to the brain and to our mental health. All right. So that really helped me to start teaching mindfulness, facilitating mindfulness in a big way. I came across the works of Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. Let's have a look. There's a quote by him, and it's a beautiful quote. And it says, mindfulness is paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment and as non-judgmentally, non-reactively, and open-heartedly as possible. So basically, John had a similar trip to me, traveled to Asia, came back into the Western world, but being a medical doctor, started to work with mindfulness with his patients, people that have suffered from triple bypass surgery or major stress going on. And he started an 8-week program, and he called it the Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR. And the popularity of this program expanded exponentially throughout the world. So that was in the 1980s. It didn't get to South Africa until probably the 2000s. You know, that's how long it took. Um, but John published a couple of books, and then he had a lot of people researching his work, and a lot of people wanted to study and find out what is mindfulness and why is it beneficial. Okay. Oops, then neuroscience has been a big part of it. There's something called neuroplasticity in neuroscience, which means that our brains change shape. My sister is an occupational therapist in neurobiology, and she talks a lot to me about the way that the brain can recuperate from a head injury in many instances. In some, obviously not. But this neuroplasticity is that our brains can change, and it's not so solid and set, which for me is also amazing, is very exciting to know that this is a dynamic and ever growing, changing process. And I was thinking today, there's a saying in the mental health mindfulness circles, and the saying is, if you don't use it, you will lose it. Okay. Um, and I don't want to lose it, right? I don't want to lose um, a very healthy brain. Not to say that I'm the poster boy for mental health. I've been through quite a lot, and I've always been anxious, and I've always been, um, struggling with something. But mindfulness has really helped me to maintain, um, even after all my struggles. I inherited not a great brain from my parents. Genetics, they call it epigenetics. My dad wasn't very good at handling stress, and he died of suicide actually when I was 21. My mom, her brain isn't great either. So I really have to work hard to stay relatively normal. So this for me was a game changer. In the I mean, and that's the thing, right? You go to the doctor if you're experiencing stress, and what's the first thing they do? They will prescribe for you to take something. And I don't have a problem with psychiatry. I don't have a problem with antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. But I do think, and I do believe, that we can do, because the scientific research is that mindfulness is just as effective as antidepressants, just as effective. And I would say more. On this particular slide, I don't know, I seem to have a red line. I don't know why that is on my slide all of a sudden. Maybe I'm not very good at this. But anyway, you can see I've got first rand on the slide. Okay, okay, there goes. Oh, right, something's happening. There's a first rand logo. So I started the teacher training program, the 8-week course, in 2016. And it was out of a yoga studio called Living Yoga in Craighall Park in Johannesburg. And it was 8 weeks of training. And then if you want to, you can carry on for another 6 weeks and become a facilitator. In 2018, there was a lady called Lisa Stead from RMB Bank, which is part of First Rand. And she came to me and she said, Mark, do you think we can take this into the corporate world and bring it into the bank? And I was like, wow. I was a bit nervous, but we did. And it was very, very successful. We started with 8 volunteers within the FNB First Rand RMB organization. And they attended my 14-week program at Merchant Place, and it was really successful. I trained so many groups within FNB, RMB, and First Rand since then, and it's still very active and still very prominent with the organization. In fact, I'd like to think that nobody knew what mindfulness was within that organization until I came along and started training people in this. Okay. And in many companies, it's very reactive. You have a employee assistant program with therapists and so on. But for me, I think it's, prevention is better than cure. Okay. And we can see this with our dental health. Okay. We brush our teeth every day. Okay. We brush our teeth in the morning. We brush our teeth in the evening. And, we might floss and all of that, right? For our dental health. Okay. Anybody here did not brush their teeth this morning? Okay, I'm sure you did, right? No one's going to say if they didn't. But it's important, right? For your teeth. If you don't brush your teeth, it's not great. And your breath starts smelling bad and nobody wants to be close to you. But what are we doing for our mental health? And people often look at me and they scratch their head and they go, "What do you mean? What are you talking about? What do you mean you can do something for your mental health?" And it's just that weird, right? It's just that weird to think that people have no idea that there is something proactive that you can do for your mental health. It's like it's like being in a world with no toothbrushes, or no toothpaste. Can you imagine? Imagine if you went to another planet and there were other humans there, but they didn't brush their teeth. They never heard of it, but everyone was meditating, right? Or practicing mindfulness. Okay, you'd be like, "Guys, you need to brush your teeth," right? And when you start to practice mindfulness, you feel exactly the same way with those around you. You think, why have we not been doing this? Why has it taken so long for us to realize that we can take charge of our own mental well-being or our mental fitness? Okay, so an EAP for me would be like a dentist. When you have a toothache or whatever, you go and see the dentist. Okay. And a dentist would say to you, you need to brush your teeth daily. But, in my experience of psychology and therapy, a lot of therapists just do the counseling and they don't offer any techniques or homework. Times are changing. I've trained many psychologists and therapists, and I've trained them in incorporating mindfulness into their therapy and into their practice. So times have definitely changed, right? Because we are now giving people the tools to look after their mental well-being. And I think if you're in an organization, it's something exciting because, there's a lot of pressure on HR people and wellness people to look after the organization. But at the end of the day, people need to look after themselves, right? So we do a lot of performance, positive psychology training. So anyway, I was training in this R&B framework, and then I was approached by an organization called Mindful Revolution, and they said, "Mark, what are you doing? It sounds amazing. Come and join us." And it was crazy because at that time I was running my own business. I had an advertising company, and I was managing director of that advertising company. And then there was a guy called Adrian Jacobs, and he was like, "Come and join us, come and join us." So I left my job and I joined Mindful Revolution. And everybody thought I was crazy. My father-in-law was like, "You left your business to join a meditation company. What are you smoking?" And I was like, "You don't understand. This is a dream come true. And I want to see this happen in the world so badly." Because it's like I've landed on a planet, no one's brushing their teeth, and I have to be the one to help them understand that they need to brush their teeth. Well, that's how I felt. We've got to help people understand that they can do something for their brain, for their mental health. So the name of the organization that I work for is called the Mindful Revolution, and I am a partner in the business. And it comes from this Time magazine article from 2014. And it was all about the revolution of mindfulness coming into the world. People said, "Oh, it's just a fad and it will disappear." Well, it hasn't. It's already 2024 and it's still very much alive and growing. So in the program, we look at a lot of this is Sarah Lazar. She's a neuroscientist. Here's Richard Davidson. He's a neuroscientist as well. And there's a lot of scientific evidence, um, so that I don't have to sell it to you, right? The evidence is in the science, is in the science of this of mindfulness. My sister helped me to get the program accredited, so it is um, HBCSA accredited, Health Professions Council South Africa accredited. If you are a medical practitioner, you get CPD points, 14 of them to be exact. I think you only need how many? 30 in a year or 2 years? I don't know. I can't remember now. So you can get 14 points, right? If you are a medical practitioner. Brilliant. It's a medical program. The program is also CETA accredited. It's a learning platform. And basically, we're going to have probably two groups, because I know that you guys are on the call, but there's another 10 people that have already signed up. Okay. And they didn't really, they knew me. They were like, we don't need to hear it again, you know. So there is still space, right? We're going to have a Monday night group and we're going to have a Thursday night group. And you can choose which group you like if you want to join. Every week there'll be a 2-hour class from 7 to 9. It will be on Zoom, and it will be quite involved in terms of your engagement. Every week you will check in, right? I'll give you 4 or 5 minutes to check in. How was the week? How was your meditation practice? Did you do your homework? Did you do the exercises? Now, don't freak out. There's not much to learn. There's not much to study, okay? But there's little practices, 10 minutes, 20 minutes a day. There's little mindful moments like mindful eating and mindful drinking coffee. And, I'm not going to give it away, right? There's lots of little tricks and tips throughout the day that we can bring awareness to in terms of mindfulness, okay? Um, so I'm very excited about this. It's my love. It's what I was put on this earth to do. All day long, we do a lot of mental health and wellness sessions, and the organization has branched out more into other areas of mental health. But yeah, I enjoy all of it really. But for me, mindfulness is like taking your brain to the gym, you know. And it's good. It's good to go to the gym, right? It's good to do a yoga class. Good to get fit, and you will learn different meditations, different techniques in every session. Okay, so every week there will be almost a new practice, and there's a reason behind that. There's a certain a neuroscience lab called the Max Planck Institute that confirms that different practices work different parts of your brain. All right. In the same way that if you went to gym, uh, different exercises would work different parts of your body. All right. So you're going to get a full brain workout, and then we're going to we're going to track you via an app. There's a wonderful app that I've been partnering with for a couple of years now. Where is it? It's this one, Insight Timer. Okay, Insights Timer. You might want to download it already and play around with it. It is free. Don't get suckered into subscribing the full edition. Okay, the app is free, and we make friends with each other, and then I can literally check in on you and see if you are doing your homework, your daily practice. So a lot of people are like, Mark, I've always wanted to learn how to meditate. I've always wanted to learn mindfulness, but I've been lazy. I tried and then I stopped and then I tried. I can guarantee you that after 8 weeks, you will have a daily practice for life. And I get told over and over again, Mark, this program has changed my life completely. Okay, I get that a lot. I get it a lot. Um, So, it's very exciting for me to have a fresh intake because yeah, I get really excited because we're going to go on a wonderful, wonderful journey. So it'll be 2-hour classes for 8 weeks, and then we'll cover the full spectrum of mindfulness. Okay, from breath work to visualization to compassion practices to goal setting, the full range, right? The full range of mindfulness. And then once the 8 weeks are up, you can say bye bye, thank you so much, or you can decide, I wouldn't mind sharing this information with other people. I wouldn't mind teaching this to my family, to my friends, or maybe I want to make a living out of this. Maybe I want to start a little mindful consultation business or mindful therapy or something like that, right? A lot of life coaches start out like this, right? So that could be an option. Um, and so basically, the next 6 weeks after those 8 weeks are for people that decide that they want to learn how to facilitate and teach mindfulness. Okay, which means then that you need to prepare a 30-minute session and run it and have theory, and maybe if you want slides, lead a meditation, and you will be evaluated by me and obviously the group as well. They will also join in giving you feedback and evaluation. Okay, so it's great. I mean, that's really a lot of fun because at that point I keep quiet after the 8 weeks, and then you guys take over, right? And it can be a bit of a daunting experience, but through the process, I also offer you one-on-one sessions to get you ready. Okay, so I don't throw you in the deep end. I make sure that by the time those people that want to become teachers or facilitators, you are ready. We've had one-on-one sessions. I've prepared you for your teach back very well. You know what to expect. And then we go on an extra 6-week journey. Once that's done, you have to prove to me that you finish 200 hours of mindfulness practice. Okay, 200 hours. Now, you're not going to do that over the next 14 weeks. Well, starting September, that is. You're not, unless you live in a monastery or a temple or something like that. Okay, it'll probably take you a year to get your 200 hours. If you have been using the Insight Timer app, and you can show me on the app your total amount of hours, there's a little statistics page that you can go on, and you can actually show me and say, Mark, I've been using the app already, and I've got quite a lot of hours. I've clocked up quite a lot of hours already. Then I will definitely consider that. We can talk about it. There we go. That's what it looks like. This was a very old picture, but number of sessions, average time, total amount of time that you've been doing. So basically, you're going to record your practices, okay, with your smartphone. There's a timer, and you're going to record your practices. And then you send me a screenshot of your 200 hours, and you will then get a certificate, okay? Which is, as I said, CETA accredited and HPCSA accredited as well. And then you have basically passed the program. 200 hours, okay? Now you got to understand, mindfulness is a practice. Some people say, can I get a degree in mindfulness? Well, you might be able to. But it's like people saying to me, can you get a degree in swimming? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But if you look at the Olympics, I don't think anybody won gold from studying swimming, right? You got to jump in the pool and swim. So the big part of mindfulness and learning how to facilitate it is to be able to practice it well. And that's why there's a big 200-hour requirement, okay? Because it proves to me that you've been doing your practices and that it's very embodied, right? It's very rich. So please understand, you can do the 8-week program, but you don't have to do the teacher training. But generally, by the time you finish the 8-week program, you kind of want to do the teacher training, you know. But there's no pressure, right? There's no pressure at all. And by the end of the process, you've made a whole bunch of new friends because we get to hear each other's stories throughout the journey, okay? And as vulnerable as you want to be. No one's going to push you into a place where you feel uncomfortable, right? So all it is, it's one class a week, either on a Monday night or a Thursday night. That's up to you. There might be a Saturday group depending on, you know, we still got a few weeks, about a month until the program starts. I'm still getting inquiries. If two groups fill up quickly, I might consider opening up a Saturday group as well. You know, it's amazing. I mean, ever since I started teaching this group, it's just never ending and it just keeps growing and expanding. So understand that it will change your life. You will learn mindfulness techniques that you will enjoy, and that you will invest your time in, and you'll find it really, really important. Interestingly enough, when we were kids, when I was a kid, we didn't know what mindfulness was because we didn't really have that level of distraction. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't have computers. Well, I had this really old computer, what, Commodore 64, then was entry level in the 80s, right? But we didn't have the amount of distraction and information that we have now. And Microsoft did a study that said that our attention span as a human race is dropping. We are dumbing down, right? Albert Einstein said technology would make a wonderful servant but a cruel master. Okay, so we are dumbing down, guys. We are dumbing down. And mindfulness is the antidote. Okay, it's also proven that our brain doesn't need to age. We don't need to get Alzheimer's and dementia. If we practice daily mindfulness, we won't get that. We won't get those things. Okay, it's proven, right? It was theory a couple of years ago, but now it's evidence that if we keep our brains fit in the same way that you look after your body and your bones, you know, bone density, right? Like I've got a staircase. This here is a staircase, okay? And I was grumpy when I moved into this place, but I realized that as I walk up and down the stairs, I'm getting good bone density, okay? It'll help me as I get older. In the same way, your brain will grow in all the right places. So as we age, we can age well and we can stay sharp, you know, because we got a good practice going. For me, it's the missing ingredient for mental health, right? In the same way that exercise is the ingredient for physical health, or eating a salad or your greens is good for you. You know, you got to understand that we have to do something for our brain, all right? And exercise is not enough, okay? People say, yeah, healthy body equals healthy mind. Sure, but it's not enough. Okay, healthy mind also equals healthy body. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's pretty much what to expect from the program. Are there any questions? I'm going to open it up to you guys. You've all been very quiet. um, you know, if you want to comment or ask questions, now's the time to do so.
I do have a question.
Sure.
For the 200 hours, does Vipassana retreats count?
Absolutely, yes, Leon. Definitely. So yeah, those retreats are like 10 days, 10 hours a day. Wow, you
I
could,
did two.
sorry?
Yeah. So I did two of them.
Oh my goodness. Okay, fabulous. Yeah, so definitely, right? But have you recorded them on Insight Timer, or is any, you know, maybe if you can show me some kind of evidence or proof, I would gladly accept that. You know,
Absolutely. It's at the Vipassana Institute in Worcester, so they do have it recorded. Yes.
100%, 100%. I'd accept that gladly. But that doesn't
Okay.
mean that you're going to be let off the hook with your homework during the program. Okay.
Ah,
Uh,
I like meditate. It's nice.
during during the program, I'm still going to snoop on you and check you on Insight Timer. I'm going to say, "Hey, Leon, why didn't you meditate this morning? What's going on?" That sort of thing. And yeah, every day, we might not be consistent. There might be a day or two where we can't get to our practice and whatever. That's okay. I'm not going to be like hard ass about it. But yeah, Leon, Vipassana is amazing. It is incredible. There are obviously some of the techniques in the program as well. So I don't want to give away too much because I know it's quite secretive in terms of what the practices are in Vipassana from Goenka Ji.
Sort of. It's not really that it's secretive. It's more that there's a way that they want you to learn it. There's a
Absolutely.
course and A, B, C, and they don't want you to jump to D. You
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I do. I definitely look. I respect and admire all mindful traditions. In the same way that I respect and admire all dental health traditions or physical health traditions. As long as it's working on the benefits to your well-being and your health, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So that's a
Thank
good
you.
question. Hmm. Any other questions or comments there, guys? If you miss a class, um, I will hunt you down and I will find you. I'm just kidding. I sounded like Liam Neeson. If you miss a class, all the classes will be recorded. So I know some of us are like working or you're on the road or maybe you take leave or something like that. If you do miss a session, that's fine. I can catch you up personally, one on one. Or if you want to watch the recording, that's also fine. Okay. So there's two options, or both, right? If you want to. But I like one-on-one. I mean, during the program, if you join the program, I'm available to you. If you have questions, if you want to do an interview style story, that kind of thing, pick my brains, start planning your teach back. Yeah, I'm pretty much available. Yes, another thing, uh, we will start a on the program. I will encourage you, and obviously I'm sensitive to the Papaya Act, so you don't have to. But I do encourage you to join a WhatsApp group that I will create, and this means that every day I will share a practice with you. You have your weekly meditation, but I will prompt triggers. I will or glimmers. Let's call them glimmers throughout the day. You know, to encourage you to be mindful. Okay, to encourage your homework throughout the day. I'll just send one message. I won't bombard you because I know I'm very sensitive to technology and overwhelm. Okay, but I'll just send you a message every day just to stimulate your practice. But every session, everybody in the group will check in. Okay, everybody will check in and tell us how your daily mindfulness practices are going, your meditation's going, they're little exercises that are fun, that you will enjoy. It's not that time consuming, so please don't freak out. You will be able to fit it into your busy life. Okay? Um, and then this is like a mindful coffee drinking exercise. Um, and then we'll be journaling as well. Okay. So every day you will open your journal, you'll have a little book or an app, whichever you prefer, and you will write down, uh, for example, the first one is non reactivity. Everything, the whole program revolves around this definition. Okay. The entire course, the 8-week program, is all about this definition. It's basically unpacking this definition over 8 weeks. Okay. so that you understand it. We're going to memorize this. You're going to know it off by heart. All right. So if you go to a dinner party and someone says, "Oh, you're studying mindfulness," and what is mindfulness? You go, "Oh, mindfulness is paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment and as non-judgmentally, non-reactively, and open-heartedly as possible." And then everyone's going to be super impressed. Okay. There are many definitions of mindfulness. Many. But this one I find to be incredible, most profound. Okay. Sasha, is it possible to start the 6-week teacher training course at a later time after completing the 8-week course, or is it recommended to begin the next course immediately? Right. Sasha, yeah, ideally, it's better if you start the 6 weeks after the 8 weeks. And I'll tell you why, because you've made really good friends in the group. And when it's your turn to teach back, everyone knows you, everyone supports you, everyone has your back. If you come into another group that has done the 8 weeks and now they're going into a 6 weeks, you come in as a stranger, right? And it's just going to put more pressure on you. Okay? It's just going to put more pressure on you. So I would suggest, if you can, do the 8 weeks and then just jump into the 6 weeks straight after. If for some reason it's not possible, then I can do a one-on-one coaching program for you. Okay, if you're not able to join a group, and then we can come to some kind of special arrangement. But then you don't get that magic of everybody celebrating your teach back, because they do, right? They're like, "Yay, well done, Sasha, you were amazing. I loved it when you did this, and I loved it when you did that." And then someone will say, "But you could have slowed down, you could have said this, or you could have said that." So you get valuable insight into your pitch and your delivery. Now, I've trained teachers at school. They will run their teach back as if they were teaching it to kids. I've trained physiotherapists. How do you bring mindfulness into physiotherapy? Then it's really fascinating to see the angles that everyone comes back with. And that's why I particularly love the last part of the training, because you guys take it to another level, right? The 8 weeks is the foundation, but then you guys just take it to all these different places. I had a lady that was doing pottery. She has a studio where they do pottery, and she was teaching mindfulness to the ladies in the pottery class, as they shaping their bowls and stuff. Beautiful. There was another guy that's a drummer, and he did his teach back with djembes, and we each got a drum, and we were playing these drums, and it was cool. It was great. So everyone gets way creative, okay? And it also depends on your job. Maybe you're let's see, maybe you're a therapist in some way, you want to bring it into your work, or even you're just like working in your office, but you want to like help your colleagues, and you don't have to be, maybe you're just an accountant and you think, "Oh, it would be nice if I could hold space for my colleagues," as they did at R&B. I mean, there you got a financial organization, and it made my heart so happy to see they made a little mindfulness room, and it was incredible. It was like a dream come true. And then the pandemic happened, But I get to talk to people. I get to run programs for 200, 300 people on a call at a time. Okay. It's also going to help you if you do the teacher training with presentation skills. Now, I know a lot of us are pretty scared and afraid of public speaking or presenting, that sort of thing. So it's actually a little bit of support in terms of that as well. Okay. A lot of us are not natural teachers or speakers. I know my ex-wife was very, very shy, very quiet. And through the process, all of a sudden, she found her voice, which was great. So that's then she started teaching yoga. If you do yoga, you're gonna love it. If you don't do yoga, you might start doing yoga after the program. I don't know, but yeah, it's what can I say? I think I've said enough tonight. I don't want to give too much away. Let's see. Any other questions, comments? All right. Good. All right. Thank you for joining this evening. It's really been great to talk to you all. And
Mark, so
yep.
can I can I ask one more question? I
Of
see
course.
the teacher training program is 8,800 Rand in total. So that would be basically spread out over 2 months, or 3 months actually, right?
Yeah, so there are payment plans available. So basically, I know some people pay for it. It's actually 4,900 for the 8 weeks and 4,100 for the teacher training. So
Oh,
it does amount to 9,000. But payment plans are available. I know some people have paid it off over like 6 months. Okay, that's fine. I don't mind. I'm willing to help with that, and so on. So I mean, just message me privately, and I can come up with a plan for you if that makes sense. Is that okay?
thank you very much.
And if you got your partner, you and your lady, I'll give you a very special price because the two of you want to join. Okay. But maybe drop me a mail and we can just chat about it. My email is mark@stillmind.co.za. Okay, send me an email. Uh, Let me know if you got any other maybe private questions, that sort of thing, that you want to ask. That's fine. Maybe you want to have a little one-on-one chat. That's fine. You need some help, support. I'm very happy to do that. But rather ask the questions than not, and then we can get them answered and get you going. Okay. All right. Super. So as I said, we've got 10 people already booked. We're going to have another 10 people in another group. So yeah, see how it goes. Don't leave it too long because the groups might fill up and there might not be enough to do a third group. Okay. So see how that goes, but don't leave it too long. We've got another month to go before it starts, and it'll finish at the beginning of December, right? So it'll go all the way from like the 7th of September all the way to December. So it's a journey. It really is a journey, but there's a reason why it's so long because it takes a while to develop a habit. Okay, it does. And there's all these debates. How long does it take to develop a habit? Some people say 21 days. Some people say no ways. It's more like 50 days. But I can tell you now, you won't look back, right? It's like we're going to learn how to brush teeth, and you'll be, you know, I mean, if you remember as a kid, you didn't want to brush your teeth. You cried, you screamed. Well, you won't be crying and screaming in developing a mindfulness practice, but it does take a bit of work. It does take a little while, a couple of weeks for it to, you know, settle in, and then you do it naturally. Like you don't even want to leave home without doing your morning practice. Okay, it's like, oh, my mind is fuzzy and it's weird, and I didn't do my meditation. Like my students will say, did you take your meds this morning? Your meds, your meditation. Okay, it's interesting how medicine and meditation are similar. They come from a similar root in terms of the word because of that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Last chance to ask a question. Are you guys okay? All right. Mapula, Jackie, Cheyenne, Pumi, Sasha, Leon, and fiance. What is fiance's name?
Thirsty. My name is Thirsty.
Uh,
Kirsten what?
oh, brilliant. Sorry, Kirschley.
Kirsty.
Kirsten.
She's
Okay, Kirsten. Awesome. Thanks, Kirsten and Leon. So, guys, yeah, look forward to having you on board, or maybe a seed is planted for another time when it's more convenient for you. That's also okay. All right, good. Be well, be happy, be safe, and be at peace. And hopefully, we'll hear from you soon. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye now. Thanks, Mapula, Cheyenne. Thanks, Fumi. Thank you. My pleasure. Good, Jackie. Nice. Sasha, Leon. Cheers.